Hi, this is Ruth Theresa with One Inspiring Woman, and I'm glad that you're joining me for Thursday Night Live. I also apologize I couldn't do it live. We are literally tearing apart my office as we speak, so we can get it ready. We are repainting and redesigning a couple of things. Things will not be that different, but we're changing a couple of things, and so I wanted to just let you know I will be live again really soon. But there's a couple of things I really need to let you know about our new moon in the sign of Taurus and kind of the eclipse energy. So I want you to understand all of this going on. So even though I'm busy doing and painting and fixing and all of those kind of things, I want you to know that you're really on my mind. So still make your comments. I will be looking at them and I will be commenting back. So if you have any questions, make sure you ask them. I will be there for you, okay? So let me light some incense. Now, I normally do light incense and have it going when I am doing my videos on YouTube that I launch all the time. But this one is really important, probably because of the eclipse energy that we're dealing with right now. The eclipse energy is still a couple of days off, but it's not that far off. But I wanted to make sure that you were ready for all of this, so that you're ready to work through this energy and get the best thing you can. So I've got my dragon's blood incense going. So let me get going about this. So really, eclipses are kind of like super charged new moons or full moons. And so kind of that's what we're talking about, is this is going to be a new moon in the sign of Taurus. We're going to talk about all of that in just a little bit. But new moons literally happen a couple of times a year, and new moons are all about like new beginnings, and it really depends on where this sign is, where that Taurus sign is in your natal chart. So if you haven't done that, you can always do that and kind of figure out where this is going to hit you the hardest. But everybody's going to be feeling this at some point, okay? So it's not like, oh my gosh, it's not going to bother me. It's going to affect everybody, and so let's talk about that. So one of the things that's really important to understand is just like a regular new moon, if you are normally amped up by the new moon, this is going to be, oh my gosh, over the top for you. So that's kind of like, interesting. The eclipses happens, and like I said, it happens in usually a very serious area of your life. Depending on your natal chart. And the eclipse where it's occurring will affect you for usually a couple of years in that area. And kind of the eclipse energy is kind of either going to push you forward or push you back. So that's kind of like, where is it going to go for you? And it really depends. That part depends on, have you been doing your inner work? Have you been doing the things? Have you been letting go of old energy? Have you been releasing things? Have you been working on your old karma? All of that kind of stuff is going to be helping you as we move through this eclipse energy. Eclipses speed up things. It's kind of like you're normally going along, and then all of a sudden the eclipse energy hits you and it pushes you forward in the direction that you've already been going and working on. So that's what I'm saying. It's like it can push you forward, but if you haven't been working, it can push you back as well. For example, if you have been stuck in kind of like a job that you're not happy with for a long period of time, and the eclipse comes around, you could go through a job layoff, or you could go through like just all of a sudden like, I'm freaking out of here, I'm over all of this, I'm walking out, which could really open up some new avenues for income. Because a lot of times, if you already have a job, maybe you're looking, but you're not seriously looking. And maybe you kind of feel like, I don't really like this job, but maybe I don't really want to change. These are all really important for you to understand. They are going to be affecting you in some way. Eclipses happen, and right now we're kind of dealing with a Taurus Scorpio kind of alignment. And really what it is they're both opposite each other. And so one is going to be in one sign and one is going to be in the other. And you'll have a series of them in those same signs for a period of time. And then it'll move to the next two signs and the next two signs all the way around. These ones are new moon is going to be in the sign of Taurus, but our full moon is going to be in the sign of Scorpio. So they're going to affect different areas of your life. Kind of what's happening right now is kind of with this alignments that we've had, it's kind of an interesting of where it's going to affect most people. What have you been working on? Those are kind of like things to kind of keep in mind for you. And you can always find a bazillion websites online that will gift you your natal chart. All you need to do is put in your date of birth and the time you were born, and I think time zone, location. That's what it is, location. So kind of doing that may give you a little bit of hint of where it's going to hit you in that area, or what could it kind of like really be affecting for you. One of the things that's important is kind of what does the effects of the eclipse, what does it really energize? What is it going to shift and energize? Our ancestors for many hundreds of years, all the way back to like early humans, really built their society around the changing seasons. And annually movements in the sun and the moon and the stars, and kind of like, how is this going to work out? How is this going to work for me, or what is it telling me? Is it time to plant? Is it time to reap the harvest? Like, what is it telling me that I need to do? Well, eclipses occurred, and they were a natural order, although it really did kind of really bring in a lot of change, or it could harbor like there's a big danger coming up for a lot of people. So that was one of those, like, is it good or is it bad? We have no idea. Although like most people nowadays are not as connected to lunar cycles or the astrology, although eclipses are still a big deal. They will still affect people. And I think that's one of those interesting things for me, is when I realized like how affected they were for me, how many other people are being affected by the same energy at the same time, yet at the same time they're like not realizing it, or they're not like putting two and two together. Like, I'm going through this and this is because of the eclipse. They're kind of like, oh, this has just happened. No, it's because of the eclipse. New moons are linked to the beginnings. Full moons are tied to kind of like the ending of cycles. The eclipse serve as kind of like a celestial kind of like check-in point of like, where are we at during this time frame? An eclipse is really like I said, a super fast kind of lunation, and then it kind of helps us kind of illuminate our karmic path of like, what have we been working on? Where are the cosmetic events and where are they going to be visually like affecting me or not affecting me so much? Astrology speaking, they can speed up time. And so if you have been working on things in your life, a lot of times, like, boom, all of a sudden you're like into it because you've already been working in this area. But if you haven't, it can be like slamming that door shut for you, just like, this isn't going to happen, or you're not going to change jobs anytime soon. So although these changes can be really jarring, sometimes it's one of those, it's just pushing your energy. You were already going there, or maybe kind of like, I want to do this, but I'm not 100%, like, I think I want to do this. And then it's going to push your energy even faster into this area. And some people even say like, maybe it's shoving you in that area. So it's kind of one of those, where do you want to go? Things that you have been working on or kind of dragging your feet about can be something that you're kind of like, I want, but I'm not really sure I want. And it can just like shove you into that energy really fast. Remember, endings are usually hard, but it doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be as hard as most people think. We have our solar eclipse Tuesday, October 25th. And it's all about like new beginnings and opportunities. Since our sun in the eclipse really kind of takes over our ego. And a lot of times people will talk about like how bad your ego is, or that you need to squish your ego or whatever else. Well, I have a different perspective. Our ego is there for a very important, very special reason for most of us. And a few people will have like an overinflated ego, and that's kind of something that they need to deal with on their own. But I will say the average person, like 98% of us, don't necessarily have a problem with their ego. I will tell you that usually narcissistic people have it, or people that have overinflated egos, kind of that sort of thing. But normally people don't necessarily have a problem with their ego. Sometimes I'll tell my clients and my students, like, you need to put your ego on the back burner for a little bit so you can kind of take in this new information, that sort of thing. But it's not necessarily that your ego is bad or horrible or anything else. It's just kind of keeping it under control so you can allow other energy to come in. Really kind of the Taurus energy that's coming in is kind of increasing like our value for things. And it's one of those, what do we value in our life is kind of what we're asking. It's kind of like that Taurus energy is really, what do you really add a value to in your life? What do you really appreciate? And that could be anything in your world. It could be your family, your job, your career, your children, your spouse. Any of that is something that's going to have some type of change during this eclipse season. And it's not necessarily like, you know, like the eclipse happens and here all the changes come in. That energy stays high for quite a while. And so it could come in like slower at the beginning and then like speed up and then slow down again. But it will have some speed to it at some point. So let's really talk about kind of how do we get ready, or how do we kind of really connect to this eclipse energy, and kind of like, what do we do? So to me, kind of, there's a couple of things that kind of keep in mind during an eclipse. And I would do some type of ritual or some type of ceremony during that time frame. And it doesn't really take a lot of supplies or elaborate details or a whole bunch of other stuff. It could be just a few things that you gather. I would say a couple of candles that you really, really love. Maybe a journal or someplace to kind of write down your thoughts and your ideas. Maybe some sage or something to clear the space, or lavender buzz if you have something like that, to kind of just clear out that space so you're really ready to kind of connect with this eclipse moon. And so kind of setting a sacred space. Where is that for you? Now, for me, if I was going to be celebrating, and I will be, the eclipse energy, I would be outside. So setting up a little space outside, and it could be just a nice table and a chair next to it or something like that, so you can gather your items. It could be as simple as putting a blanket out on the yard or your patio or something like that, and kind of just making a little sacred space for you. What I would say is someplace that you feel really calm, really connected to other things. You could kind of diffuse some essential oils in there as well. You could do pillows or candles or a blanket, any crystals or shells that you really just love. And then that kind of brings in, kind of the love part brings in some pictures. What are the pictures that you love and things that you really value in your life? So if that's your family, get a couple of family photos where everybody's happy and looking great. Having pictures of, like, if it's your career or your dog or your cat, whatever that is, like making sure that you have pictures to really hold that space for them. Our new moon is all about kind of like setting up a very special place for this energy to kind of come in, work with us, evolve with us, and transform us into a whole bunch of amazing energy. Next, I would say kind of taking some time, even before the eclipse happens, taking some time and gathering your thoughts, gathering your ideas and your intentions of what is it that you would feel like on the other side of this, like, oh my gosh, this was an amazing eclipse because this happened. I was able to change jobs, or I was able to reconnect with family members, or whatever it is. Take some time to kind of really set those thoughts and those intentions in place. Taking some time to meditate, kind of what does that feel like on the other side? Not the transformation part, but how does it feel now that things are reconnected, or new beginnings have started? Taking some time to maybe do some journaling. This would be a great time if you have any affirmation statements or mantras that you like, adding those to that energy as well. The new moon's energy is the optimal time to kind of like set your goals, kind of what are the ideas that you want to grow into, and then are there any habits or things that you would like to change or upgrade in your space. So kind of just thinking about that. Like I said, this is kind of really the best time to really connect with this energy. What is it that you want to do? What is it that you want to connect to on the other side of this time frame? And if there's any pictures, now I am not an artist. My students laugh at me because I am the best stick person drawer there is in the whole world. But even if they're stick people drawing, like, what is that connected for you? What does that look like for you and your family? Being connected. What does that look like? That energy look like for you? And holding that image in your mind as you go through, you're setting up your time frame. And I would set up 2 or 3 days in advance. I would really be setting my space, gathering my thoughts, my intentions, and then I would really kind of connect to that moon energy as it gets more and more full over the next couple of days, of kind of like, what is your vision that you really want to bring through? And doing that with a meditation, really connecting to the music of that, changing things, and then really think about, what do you value in your life? What is it that you want to bring in? I would also say kind of really setting a great intention at the time is a benefit. Setting this time of kind of like allowing that energy. Now in 14 days from the eclipse, we're going to have another eclipse. So it's going to like, it's as soon as it starts to taper off, it's like, boom, here we get another kick and here it goes again. I'll be talking about that one in a couple of days. But I want you to really understand, this is a great time to really amplify this energy, really amplify what you desire in your life. And so what are those things that you want to gather? What are those sacred things that you want to gather? I love essential oils. I love candles that have a fragrance to it. I would be kind of clearing out that space and kind of like letting go of everything that doesn't work right now, so I can like let it go and have it come back to me transformed. Kind of like, what else would I want to do in this time frame? This is something that you should be thinking about now, before that time frame comes, before that time is like, here we got to go. What is it that you want to gather? Gather that stuff, items together, setting up your sacred space if you don't already have one set up, and making those changes and modifications now. So now that you have your ideas of what you want to gather, the ideas of what you want to put together over the next couple of days, getting ready for this eclipse coming in at us. So let me pull some angel cards and let's get us a little bit deeper insight into this. I have a couple of them to pop, and this one like literally is coming out the side. Makes it hard to hold on to. So the first one is Leo. And Leo is usually about your ego, and it's talking about letting it shine. Your ego is not a bad thing to have come up during this time frame, because it's one of those, our ego is what makes us fall in love. Our ego is kind of the thing that gives us that inspiration of, what do we want to bring in for us? What do we want to do next? What do we want to bring in to kind of amplify in this Taurus energy? This one is the other one that came up on the side. This is Mars, and this is all about being in motion and action. So be in action of getting ready for this eclipse season early. Don't wait till the last minute. Don't like, oh my gosh, all of a sudden it's here. No, it didn't just appear. It's been coming. So this is kind of your wake-up call. Like, okay, I need to be in action over this. I need to get this in order. Our next card is Ceres, and this is all about nurturing. This is about nurturing what's important to you. What is important to you? What do you want to emphasize in this? Because whatever you emphasize in this eclipse, it's one of those, it's kind of like, what's going to be coming up over the next, few months to 6 months out. So what is that you really want to amplify? This one is the conjunction, and this is all about the alliance. What is it that you want to connect into? The alliance is all about bringing things together. So what do you want to bring together in your life, to make an alliance, to make an ally with, or a friend with? Kind of, what is that energy? Where do you want to go with this? What is that energy that you want to bring forward? That is something that can be very powerful at this time, to really think about that. And then also make sure that it's somehow in your sacred space. So kind of like, where is it at? This one's upside down as well. This is Jupiter, and this is all about the abundance. That's totally what an eclipse is about, is bringing in a high abundance of what you want in your life, how you want this to work out in your life, and pushing energy. Not necessarily how it worked out, but at the end, how it worked out, kind of the end of it. What do we want to bring forward in this energy? What do we want to bring forward in all of this? And that's a really great way of thinking about this and kind of bringing in that amazing energy, not only for you, but for your family, your friends, and the people around you. Setting this sacred space up together. You can do the eclipse energy together if you have a really close friend that you want to do this with. That can be great to kind of amplify each other and kind of encourage each other forward as you keep moving forward in this eclipse energy. Like I said, it's going to stay high for quite a while, so you've got some time in this, and kind of making it counting, like what are you doing in this energy? What is it that you really want to bring forward in your life, and what do you want to bring out and amplify at this time? The next one is deliberate, and this is all about discomfort. I think a lot of times people only think about, like, I don't like this, I hate my job, or I don't like this career, or whatever else, and they want to change it. But it doesn't always have to be something that's brought you discomfort. Sometimes it can be things that you just want to amplify. I want to amplify this. I want to make this stronger. I want to make this energy better. I want to... I love my job, but maybe there's something else out there. Maybe there's kind of that extra that I really want to bring into my job, or bring in that energy, not only for me, but for my family as well. And so that could be something that could bring in a great energy for not only you, but for them as well. The next one is solar flares, and this is all about activating. What you activate now, what you think about, is going to activate energy, even if it's something you're like, I didn't even think about that, and it just kind of came up on its own. There will be things that will be activated and motivated in your space of, like, yeah, let's change all of this. Let's make some great upgrades and some new great changes. Okay, so here is my singing bowl. I'm going to take a step back from the camera just because I don't want it too loud in there. But I want you to really think about some of the things that you would want to envision. And it's kind of, I want you to envision it already completed, already done, not going through the job interview process. It's already having the job. So I'm going to do that. We're going to do a quick little meditation with this, and I will also put this solely on the my YouTube channel tonight, so you can connect with this one as well. So if you want to do it a couple of times over the next few days as we get ready for this. So here we go. Let's start with a nice deep breath. Deep breath in through your nose, down and through your chest, and all the way back out. Deep breath in through your nose, down and through your chest, and all the way back out. Softening your eyes and thinking about the items that you choose to have completed during this eclipse cycle. Think about how you're going to feel with your new steps, maybe in your career or with your family. Maybe there's new insights or changes. Maybe there's some healing, not only for you, but maybe other family members as well. Think about that healed completely. No more pain, no more stiff joints or muscles. Healed, able to do anything and everything you choose to do. How are these changes going to change and modify your holiday plans? Think about the new connections in your families and friends. How is it going to change and modify? How is it going to feel on the other side of these changes? How are those new connections going to come in and change and modify? Not just you, but your family, your friends. How is it going to change all of that? Maybe there's some new clarity that you're choosing to have in your life. Maybe a new direction. Maybe new steps in a direction. Think about that. How does it feel like to have those signs and symbols from your angels and archangels celebrating you as you make new changes in your life? Feeling those changes already done, already completed. Let's take a few last deep breaths together. Deep breath in through your nose, down and through your chest, and all the way back out. Deep breath in through your nose, down and through your chest, and all the way back out. Wiggling your toes and your fingers and becoming aware of the space that you're in. Deep breath in through your nose, down and through your chest, and all the way back out. I thank you so much for joining me for Thursday Night Live, and I know that we'll be talking again soon. I know you're going to have an amazing eclipse cycle.